TLC presents a special presentation of I Can Make You Thin with Paul McKenna. Consult your doctor before beginning this or any new weight loss program. Individual results will vary. This program is for entertainment purposes only. He has started a weight loss revolution, changing the lives of people around the globe.
How confident. It's been amazing.
I'm just really grateful.
It's just phenomenal.
And tonight, he will help you lose weight through your television.
Watching this at home through the television set, try this out.
Paul McKenna is one of Britain's most successful self-improvement authors. His life-changing books have sold over 3 million copies worldwide.
Associate motivation, and pleasure.
Scale of 1 to 10, where's your desire for the chocolate?
None.
For years, he's been helping people transform themselves from fat to thin with his groundbreaking weight loss method.
Who's had enough of dieting?
From rock stars to royalty, over 500 million TV viewers in 42 countries have watched his show.
It's the easiest thing I've ever done.
It's the easiest way that I've lost weight.
I'm the fittest I've ever been in my life.
I've lost 160 pounds.
It's 185 pounds.
And he wants to make you thin now.
Who's ready for something new? Have a seat, please. Who has left food on their plate since last week? Who's more in control around food? Now, I told you not to weigh yourself, but who's actually lost some weight since last week? Over the next few weeks, I'm going to show you how to knock out cravings, how to supercharge your metabolism, and how to increase your confidence and self-esteem. Tonight, though, we're going to be talking about emotional eating. If you've put on weight following a trauma or a stressful time, or maybe you eat because you're lonely or bored, then you're trying to change the way you feel with food. Emotional hunger is very different from physical hunger. Emotional hunger comes on suddenly. We feel upset, we feel bored. Physical hunger comes on gradually and slowly. So tonight we're going to talk about emotional hunger because everybody changes the way they feel by some external means. Drinking, drug-taking, gambling, sex, shopping, all of those are external ways of changing how we feel. Right now, though, more people are treating food like a drug than ever before. Food is, if you like, the world's drug of choice right now. It's relatively inexpensive and it's fairly easily available. Now, if you eat because you feel lonely, you're not really hungry for food, you're hungry for companionship or love, and no amount of food is ultimately going to satisfy you. People eat emotionally and then they beat themselves up because they know they weren't hungry, they've just eaten to change the way they feel. And so because they feel so bad about having done that, they go and do it again a little bit later. And so it becomes a vicious cycle. What we're going to do tonight is break that and establish emotional equilibrium. I'm going to show you a really easy way to feel so good without food. Who here has eaten what they wanted? Yeah. Who ate it consciously? Yeah. And when you thought you were full, who stopped? Last week, we learned to think and eat like a naturally thin person. And it's very easy, because when you're hungry, what do? Go and eat! Because if you starve yourself, your body thinks there's a famine on, it slows metabolism, and you store fat. And of course, you eat what you want! Because as soon as you make a food forbidden, it becomes all you can think about. And how do you eat it? Consciously! Which means slowly, and you chew every mouthful about 20 times. And of course, when you're eating slowly and consciously, it's really easy to when you think you're full. Now, that's only the first part of my method. Tonight, we're going to be dealing with emotional eating. But before we go any further, I want to find out what sort of things have been happening for you for the last few days. So let me just come talk to anybody here had a bit of a success story in the last few. Sir, can I ask you to stand up? Hi, what's your name?
Eric.
Eric, what's happened to you this last week?
Well, basically, I was doing the program, and I noticed the very first morning after we did this that I ate less than half of what I usually did. But I was eating what I wanted,
yes.
You know, and there was no feelings of annoyance or anger that I couldn't eat a pizza if I wanted a pizza.
Brilliant.
But instead of eating 4 or 5 pieces of pizza, I would have 2 pieces of pizza, and then I was very full.
Wow, this is very, very cool. Now, you see, this is what I love. You don't feel like you're missing out. You're eating pizza, you're eating the stuff you like, but you're back in control.
Right. My plate still had food on it, and I was like, I was able to throw it away, where before I would always eat what was on my plate.
This is fantastic news. This is great. I think it's going to work for you. Eric, this is brilliant. Fantastic. Thank you. Okay, who else has got a success story? Who's lost a bit of weight? Sir, what's your name?
Chris.
Chris, what's happened to you this week?
Well, usually when I went for lunch at work, what I usually have in one sitting, I scoop down. It actually lasted for 3 meals. I was able to take some home, and even the owner of the restaurant, who jokes about how much I eat, thought I was sick.
Wow, that's really funny. So you're eating about a third of what you normally eat.
Yes.
Yeah. How did you feel about leaving that food? Did you feel any guilt at all?
No, I boxed it up and I brought her home.
Great,
So,
it's fantastic. Thank you so much. That's brilliant. Okay. Let me come over here. Here we go. What have you noticed this week?
I've noticed that, the smaller the bite you take, the more you taste it. And I noticed that I really love gourmet carrots. I mean, organic carrots.
Yeah.
They're so sweet, and I never noticed that they were that sweet before.
Wow. Thank you. This is brilliant. Okay. We've had a lot of questions from people at home as well. Some very popular questions are, some people say, where are the meal plans? Where are the recipes? That is the mentality of dieting. And as we know, that works for hardly anybody. When you eat what you want, you don't need a meal plan because you're going to your own intuition, your own body's wisdom. It actually comes from within rather than from being an external plan. Now, some people say, well, how can I eat what I want? I mean, if I eat what I want, I'll eat all sorts of fattening foods. Once again, that's the mentality of dieting. Naturally thin people eat chocolate, chips, cheese, all of that stuff, but they just don't eat them to excess because they're putting the knife and fork down or they're putting the sandwich down or whatever it is, they're eating consciously. Also, the other thing you'll notice, when you eat consciously, your preferences may well change. Who's noticed some changes in their preferences this week? Yeah, very, very usual. Because when you're eating some foods, you're slamming it in, you're not really tasting it. When you actually stop and taste the food, you might find that you want a different kind of food. Another question we've had is, how well does this work? I want to look like the models in the magazines. Now, so do the models, because most of them don't look like that. These pictures on magazine covers, they're airbrushed. They don't really look like that. Rather than compare yourself to something that doesn't exist or to an anorexic that's unhappy all the time because they're hungry, why don't you compare yourself to yourself? What I want you to do is ask yourself, am I getting better? Am I better than I was a week or a month ago, yes? Now, another question we've had a lot is, what if I can't tell if I'm full? Do you know, it's not uncommon in the first week or so because many people have desensitized themselves. They've starved and binged. They can't get an accurate reading. So what I'd like you to do is just start tuning into your stomach and check in during the course of a meal. Remember, my approach is not a diet. There's no starving, no calorie counting. It's an entirely different approach. I know that sounds too good to be true, but I'm going to prove to you how well it works. Let's hear from somebody who is a real emotional eater.
I've had many bad experiences over the years as a fat person. I was walking down the street, hopefully trying to get some exercise, and somebody in a passing car literally wound down the window and started shouting, "Walk, fatty, walk." And when somebody does that to you in public, it's humiliating. It makes you feel worthless as a person. I hated myself. I just questioned whether I even had a place on the planet. I could feel that my body was deteriorating. It couldn't deal with the sheer amount of weight that I was carrying. And that was, for me, was the lowest moment that I knew I was really damaging my health. I've tried all sorts of diets and potions, and none of them have worked. I was 386 pounds. I felt trapped within my own body. Out of desperation, I started Paul's program. I went home thinking, this isn't going to work for me, it's just too simple. The first thing I noticed was that I was leaving huge amounts of food on my plate. I think the things that I enjoy the most now, the simple things that probably other people take for granted, the thing that probably gives me the most joy is being able to keep up with my daughter Emily. My wife has been following the programme very loosely herself just by watching what I've been doing, and she's lost 40 pounds herself just in the last 13 months. And now I can see a future. Life's improving because I'm getting on with life.
Please welcome all the way from England, Chris Wilde. you. Great to see you, Chris. You look fantastic. Doesn't he look fantastic? Woo! How good does he look? Chris, how much weight have you lost?
Last time I checked, 185 pounds.
185 pounds! Now, we met just over a year ago.
Yeah.
It was on a British TV show. You were in a group of people like this, and you'd come along to lose weight. Is it fair to say you were skeptical?
After you told us about the system, the program, it took about 2 hours and you finished, and I thought, is that it? Surely there's more to this. It can't be that simple. And I've wasted 25 years of my life, and it was as easy as this. So I went away and I thought, well, I'll give it a chance. And I've just stuck with it, and it's just the easiest thing I've ever done.
Wow, this is fantastic. Now tell me, how is this approach, this method, different to dieting?
It's completely different to dieting. Life's fun again. You don't have to think about food. You don't have to avoid food. I just enjoy every day because I can eat what I want and drink what I want.
Now, did you have to go to the gym like for hours a day? You know, because a lot of television shows focus on that.
No, I think the most I've done is I'd probably go for a couple of 10, 15-minute walks in a week.
Excellent. When I tell people this, I say you don't have to join a gym. You've got to walk more. And of course, when you stop starving yourself, your metabolism has got a chance. It can actually speed up. Yeah. They don't believe me.
I was backstage and I was listening to some of the people. You're saying the same things I was saying when I started. Just go with the flow. It's so easy. I've done crash diets for 20 years. It's just completely different.
Now, let me show you something from the past. These are some of your old pants. Let's just hold those up for a minute. Look at that. There is room for 2 of you in there. Do you remember these?
Do you know why I remember these? I wore these for my daughter's christening, and that really upset me. That these are 62 inches, and that really upset me that for my own daughter's christening, her big special day, I wore these, and I was really ashamed of myself. I didn't want people to look at me. So I keep these as a souvenir, but I hate them, really.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Those days are over.
Thank you.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Unlike other weight loss shows where we watch other people succeeding, I want to help you at home. And later, I'm actually going to show you an amazing technique that Chris used to lose 185 pounds. I'm going to be giving you tonight at home through the television set.
It makes me feel good inside.
This really does make a difference.
For more information about I Can Make You Thin, log on to www.tlc.com/thin.
Tonight, we are going to learn how to knock out emotional eating. Emotional eating is eating because we feel upset or bored rather than because we're actually hungry. Now, a lot of people change the way they feel with food these days, but it's emotional signals that are really important because emotions tell us how to think and feel. Fear, for example, says to us, feel prepared. Anger lets us know that one of our standards has been violated. So emotions are actually part of our intelligence. Some of them, though, feel a bit uncomfortable. Many people actually ignore feelings of sadness and anger because they feel uncomfortable. But what happens is the emotion ends up shouting louder. Now, actually, when you listen to the message of the emotion can go away. So tonight, I'm going to show you a really simple technique that will mean that you can actually take the emotional overwhelm down so you don't have to do it with food. A lot of people who are overweight think it's because that they're mad or they're greedy or they've got no willpower. But I want to tell you there's actually a very good scientific reason why you overeat, and it's not your fault.
We have a tendency to respond to all signs of internal distress as though they represent hunger, and then we wind up feeding ourselves.
Many people eat because they're lonely or bored, despondent or unloved, or for other emotional reasons, none of which have anything to do with physical hunger.
Emotional eating is probably the most common thing we see in terms of obesity and weight control issues.
They feel as though they can't tolerate the intense negative emotions that they're experiencing, and they mindlessly eat in order to mask those feelings.
When grabbing something to snack on, it's good to stop and ask yourself, am I really hungry? Or do I just want to change the way I feel?
People need to work on tuning in to what their distress is signaling for them and respond accordingly, as opposed to responding to everything as though it represents hunger.
Okay, so how many people here can identify with that? All right, let me come talk to you. Ma'am, can I have a quick talk with you?
Sure.
Hi, what's your name?
Nicole.
You're an emotional eater?
Yes, definitely an emotional eater.
When do you emotionally eat?
I work at a hotel, like in a kitchen.
Yep.
And so there are always things available. Like my worst is chocolate chip cookies. So
Okay. Is it when you're stressed then?
yes, when I'm stressed, if I have an interaction with a guest.
So somebody comes and complains to you, you
Yes.
take the brunt of it, and then to calm yourself down, you go and eat some food.
Yeah, immediately I'm like, okay, when are they going to go away so I can, so I can get into the cookies?
When you've emotionally eaten, do you feel better? Do you go, oh, that was really satisfying, I controlled my stress, I feel fantastic? Or do you think to yourself, what have I done?
No, I feel horrible. I feel absolutely disgusted with myself.
So you get a temporary hit from the food, but the long term is that self-loathing, that feeling
Right,
of
yeah, 10
shame or
seconds
whatever.
later, I feel ashamed of myself. I feel repulsed.
Tonight, we're going to change that.
Okay, good.
Okay, all right. Let me come talk to somebody else. Who else is an emotional leader? Sir, what's your name, sir?
Caben.
Caben, you emotional leader?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you suddenly put on weight following a trauma or a difficult time, or has this been a gradual thing?
It's been a gradual thing. I don't do well with stress.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I just start packing it on.
Yeah.
And then my mom died.
Yeah.
And so I became even more an eater. And at night is when it's at the worst.
Very often I find this. People have been through a difficult time, and in order to help them through that time, they started emotionally eating. And even though the tough time has passed, they keep the habit of overeating. And so these things happened a while ago.
Yes.
And the good thing about the past is it's over. And you can go change the way you feel about the past, and we're going to change that tonight. Because I want you to know this is a destiny moment tonight.
Okay.
Your life is going to change tonight.
Okay.
No more emotional overwhelm. No more feeling out of control. No more having to hate those feelings and fear those feelings of sadness and anger and guilt and shame, whatever it is, because your life's going to change tonight, Kevin.
All right, brother.
All right.
All
Thank you
right.
so much. All right. God bless. Anybody else put on weight following a trauma or a stressful time? Yeah? Anybody else resonate with that? Let me talk to you, sir. Hi, what's your name?
Jason. Chris's story really resonated with me. I saw his picture up on the screens, and I've taken that picture where I'm sitting there, and you have the smile on your face, but you're not happy. And I've created traumatic problems just so he could eat more,
Yeah.
It never takes its place. It just keeps going and going. I mean, we're literally almost the same weight, almost the same size. I just see it. I'm never like this.
These are emotions that you've been pushing down for a long time.
Yes.
And they popped up tonight. And you know what? This is a safe place for it to happen, because there's a lot of love and support in this room, isn't there? Yeah? And I know right now you feel uncomfortable about this. And, it took a lot of courage for you to stand up and share this, and we appreciate that. And there isn't anybody in this room, and there's millions of people watching, who all know the place where you are right now. And the good news is there's a way back. Tonight, I'm going to show you how to reduce these feelings of overwhelm and upset, how to feel more peace and calm in yourself so you won't have to do it with food. And not only that, we're going to do it through the television set to people at home. If you're feeling sad, if you're feeling bored, if you're feeling lonely, if you're feeling angry, I'm going to show you how you can take that overwhelm down so that the emotions are manageable. There's an easy, simple technique I'm going to show you very shortly. It's going to change that.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, okay, all right, okay. Okay, all right, thank you. I just want to talk to Chris for a minute, if that's okay. Chris, can I just ask you to give us some words of encouragement here, because you were where Jason was a year ago. Is there something you can say to him to reassure him?
It's not going to stay like this forever. I did the exact same thing. I was focusing on all the bad stuff that I've been through. You just stick with the program. You'll see the positive stuff, and you'll start looking forward to each day. So don't give up. Honestly, I was literally ready to die 13 months ago. So please, honestly, you'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay, all right, fantastic stuff. Thank you. Thank you, Chris. That's brilliant. Thank you. Good. Okay. In just a moment, we're going to see a simple, easy technique for overcoming emotional eating.
It makes me feel good inside.
This really does make a difference.
For more information about I Can Make You Thin, log on to www.tlc.com/thin.
I want to introduce you to somebody who is an emotional eater, just like many of you watching tonight. I'd like you to meet Grace. Her emotional eating was out of control. Let's hear her story.
I'm Grace. I'm 43 years old. I'm a single mom of a 5-year-old son. I'm a graphic designer. Right now, I'm out of work. I've been doing freelance work at home. I have to find a full-time job, and I'm overweight. Before I gained weight, I felt great. I was about 140, and that felt really good. I could wear anything that I wanted to wear, and I felt really cute. I felt really confident. Now I wear the same things over and over, just thinking, you know, what does it matter? I don't know, I don't even like to look at pictures of myself because now I know what I look like, and it does not make me feel good. I've had these feelings about myself, about being overweight for about 2 years. I started gaining weight after my divorce. I think before I was more conscious of what I ate, and maybe now I'm not as careful. I just wanted to comfort myself. Eating it just made me feel a lot better. I got divorced because I found out that for 5 years, my husband was having an affair with my brother's wife, which was devastating.
With Grace, as with most people, the food was the symptom of the problem, not the problem itself. Grace went through a tough time and started changing her feelings with food. Then she got into the habit of doing that all the time. If it's something that she's learned to do, then of course she can unlearn it. It doesn't take months of therapy. It can be done in a matter of minutes. Watch how I did it with her before I do it with you through the TV.
Before we start, can I have a look at your kitchen? Is that all right?
Of course.
A lot of people have a secret stash.
I do.
Yes. What is that? What is that?
How did you know?
I have lived in the minds of people who are overweight for a long time.
That's mine.
That's the secret stash. Let's see what's in here. Mr. Chocolate's in here.
And chocolate.
And Mr. Chocolate's here. So that is very helpful to know. So you began to put on the weight about 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah. So my husband had an affair with my sister-in-law.
Yeah.
Going through the whole divorce was very traumatic.
So when you see him, you have a strong emotional response.
Yes.
And what is it? Is it anger? Is it sadness?
No sadness.
No sadness, just anger. Great.
Just complete anger, 100% anger.
Great.
Well, the fact that he has to see Matthew every other weekend, it brings it up. Every time I have to see him.
Right, okay. When we are in inescapable stress, we're overwhelmed by our emotions. We try and find a way to change that by external means. Drinking, drug-taking, gambling, sex, shopping, television, and of course, food, all change the way that we feel. Everyone in the world changes the way they feel by some external means. What we're going to do is change your feelings on the inside, because when you feel emotional equilibrium inside yourself, you won't have to use food to change how you feel.
That'd be great.
The gist of what we're going to do today is a very powerful technique. This involves tapping on various acupuncture points on the body. What this will do is it will knock out cravings, knock out emotional overwhelm. This is the #1 choice of trauma treatment in Kosovo. It's fast becoming that in Rwanda, where they certainly know about trauma. When you think about the stress of the relationship breakup, on a scale of 1 to 10, what number is it? 10's the worst, 1's the least.
10.
It's a 10. Right, so I want you to look at me and copy me. You can tap on either side as you look at me.
Okay.
Tap here. Tap here. Put your eyes down to the right. Keep tapping. I know there's a lot to think of. Now put your eyes down to the left. Now follow my fingers in a full circle. Keep concentrating on the feeling of upset, the feeling of compulsion, of emotional eating that comes from this feeling of stress. Now, hum your favorite tune. And count out loud from 1 to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On a scale of 1 to 10, what number is the upset right now?
Like, I don't feel anything.
Good. Okay. When I ask you to think about emotional eating, a particular food that you like, Is there one that you feel around? Yeah. What about the secret stash of chocky down there? Yeah. Can you get any desire for that going? On a scale of 1 to 10?
10.
10. Excellent. All right, let's go get it. Tap here. Think about chocolate. Where's your desire for chocolate right now?
1.
It's a 1.
0.
A 0. Try and think of chocolate. Try and get a desire for chocolate going. Fantastic. Thank you, Grace. I'm going to give you a call, find out how you're doing.
Okay, great.
Okay.
I feel so optimistic. I really believe that this can change my life.
Grace has some uncomfortable emotions that have been driving her to eat when she's not truly hungry.
Hello? I had a really stressful conversation with my ex-husband. I normally would have gone into the kitchen and eaten. I asked myself, am I hungry? Do I want something? I looked around, and normally I would have just taken anything, a muffin or crackers just to eat, and I didn't, and it was such a great feeling. I was so unhappy for so long. I think I really shut off all my emotions, and so this has really helped me to get my emotions back. The tapping technique really helped to calm me down, and now I don't use food to change how I feel. Now I can control my emotions. I just got back from dropping Matthew off at his dad's house. I didn't get upset. I didn't feel like eating. I am so happy. This is the greatest day ever. Since I met with Paul, I've noticed a lot of great changes. My clothes fit better, they're looser. I've been exercising a lot, walking, hiking, and dating again. It's great.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Grace Kilsey. Hi, Grace. How you doing?
Good, great.
Now, when I first met you, you were eating on your feelings. You could hardly handle a phone call from your ex-husband.
Right.
Yeah. How's that different?
Oh, it doesn't bother me anymore. I don't have those same feelings anymore.
You felt really angry when you were
Very
speaking to your
angry.
ex-husband.
Very angry, yeah.
What's different?
Now I can control my my feelings, and I don't get angry anymore.
Okay, you got more emotional control.
Right.
You've still got a dynamic range of emotions. You can still feel fear. You can still feel anger.
Right.
But is it overwhelming like it used to be?
No, not at all. Now I can have normal emotions and deal with everything I have to deal with.
What about, for example, that secret stash?
I did.
Do
yeah.
you still have a secret
I
stash?
do still have it, but I don't go to it. It's still there.
You have the secret stash
Of
of
course,
chocolate,
everybody does.
but you don't go to it.
Right.
Now, you
right.
see, this is the difference between my method and a diet. With a diet, it would have to be about get that food out of the house. With this method, you change yourself on the inside. You can have as much chocolate as you want lying around the house because you feel differently about the chocolate.
Right, and I don't feel like, I know that it's there. I can't have it. I know that it's there, and I can have it if I want it, and, or not.
Tell me about the effect of the tapping technique, developed by a brilliant American psychologist. This involves tapping on acupuncture points. It looks a bit unusual. What would you tell people about it?
It doesn't really matter what it looks like, as long as it works. I'm not sure why it really matters what it looks like.
Because when I first saw this demonstrated, I thought, how's this going to work? What going is somehow going to make me feel better.
Right.
But
But it
I've got to
does.
tell you, it does. And I have taught
Yeah.
this to so many people, movie stars, rock stars, even royalty. You would not believe who in the privacy of their own home sits tapping away like this, reducing the emotional overwhelm. Yeah.
Yeah, and it only helps you. I just don't know why it matters what it looks like.
Exactly.
It definitely works.
Fantastic. Thanks
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you.
Grace.
Thank
Okay.
you.
When we come back, I'm going to show you sitting at home how you can stop emotional overwhelm and feel calm and peaceful in a matter of moments with this technique.
It makes me feel good inside.
This really does make a difference.
For more information about I Can Make You Thin, log on to www.tlc.com/thin.
TLC presents a special presentation of I Can Make You Thin with Paul McKenna. Consult your doctor before beginning this or any new weight loss program. Individual results will vary. This program is for entertainment purposes only.
moments ago, you saw how the tapping technique worked for Grace. It's a proven technique that works for most people most of the time.
By tapping on these acupuncture points, which are here and here, some under the arm, some on the collarbone, we can cause a change in the brain.
Developed by American psychologist Dr. Roger Callahan, the tapping technique reprograms the brain like a computer, dramatically reducing uncomfortable emotional signals. When we feel calm, we're less likely to overeat.
This is based in kind of traditional Chinese medicine, and that there are points where the energy gets blocked. And by tapping on the energy points, we can allow energy to flow and the body returns itself to normal health.
Okay, so who would like to control their emotional eating? Let's do it now. I'm going to do it with you here in the audience and watching this at home through the television set. Try this out. I want you to think of a situation that makes you want to emotionally eat, comfort eat. Not because you're hungry, but because you're upset or you're stressed or you're bored or you're lonely or something like that. Who's got one? Yeah? Take a reading. On a scale of 1 to 10, where is it? Who's got one that's an 8, 9, 10? That's it. Pick a big one. Here we go. Okay. Tap under the eye. Collarbone. Under eye again. About 10 times. There you go. Tap the side of your hand here. Concentrate on that feeling of upset or boredom or frustration or stress that would normally make you want to go and eat. Tap on the back of your hand here. Close your eyes. Open your eyes. Keep your head still. Eyes down to your right, eyes down to your left. Now, whirl your eyes in a full 360-degree circle. Keep your head still. Whirl it in the opposite direction. Remember, this is not a distraction. This actually is changing the way your brain processes thoughts and feelings. Let's hum a tune. Now let's count out loud from 1 to 5, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going from the right brain to the left brain. Let's go back to the right brain again. Hum again. Tap under the eye. Collarbone. Eye. Now, take another reading. Who's got a number that's lower than what they started with? In fact, who's got hardly any of that uncomfortable emotion left? Excellent. This is really marvelous stuff. Who's got a feeling of peace and calm or emotional equilibrium where they had stress, upset, boredom, frustration, something else? Fantastic. This is your assignment at home this week. Practice the tapping technique. You'll be able to use it whenever you feel emotionally overwhelmed or out of control around food. It will put you back in control in a matter of seconds. Follow along. This is all you need to do. Tap under the eye. Either side, doesn't matter. Collarbone. Eye. Side of the hand. Back of the hand. Close your eyes. Keep tapping the back of your hand. Open your eyes. Keep tapping the back of your hand. Look down to your right. Look down to your left. Rotate your eyes in a full 360-degree circle. Rotate in the opposite direction. Keep tapping. Hum a tune. Count out loud from 1 to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hum a tune. That's a good. Then stop. You may have to do this several times, but after a while, you'll be able to knock out any emotional desire to eat in a matter of seconds. Now, you might need to do this 10, 15 times for the first day. The next day, 8 or 7 times. The next day, 5 or 4 times. Because the more you do this, the more it lowers the emotional overwhelm and it puts you back in control. Now look, there are some situations where you need an overwhelming emotion. If someone is chasing you down the street with a knife, do not say, excuse me, let me just get my emotions under control. Get the hell out of there. If the house is on fire, don't get the emotional overwhelm down by tapping. Get the hell out of there. So some situations require emotional overwhelm, but far too many people get stressed about stuff they don't need to. There's a great saying by Mark Twain. He said, I've been through some terrible things in my life, and some of them actually happened. But far too often we sit there and wind ourselves up about nothing. So what I want you to do is to tap those negative emotions down. Make yourself feel more comfortable. When we come back in just a moment, we'll see how well it works for someone whose emotional eating is truly out of control.
It makes me feel good inside.
This really does make a difference.
For more information about I Can Make You Thin, log on to www.tlc.com/thin.
Tonight, we are now learning how to overcome emotional eating. Last week we met a couple whose emotional eating problem is huge. Claudia's desperately trying to lose weight before her wedding day, and Paul is drastically overweight. He's got some severe health risks as a result. In the past, Paul and Claudia would change the way they feel with food. Now, once they stabilize their emotions, they won't have to do that. They won't have to eat to feel good.
After following my program for 1 week, and despite the stress of planning a wedding, Paul and Claudia continue to see results.
I think I've lost some weight. My pants are falling off of me.
As much as I've slowed down my eating speed, I think he's slowed his down more.
With their wedding just around the corner, everything seems more stressful to them.
Oh, man.
I'm totally stressed out about the wedding, and we haven't even sent out the invitations at this point.
Word invitations, laundry, print invitations, update website. Oh yeah, find a photographer.
With their stress and emotions running at their highest, this is when they need to use the techniques to change their eating patterns.
I'm really worried about Paul. When he gets stressed out, he tends to turn to food.
I wanted to show Paul and Claudia the tapping technique so that they can reduce stress and take control of their emotional eating.
I'm going to show you another technique that knocks out any craving. Do you drink any colas or any, sweet drinks, anything like that?
I like root beer.
Think about a root beer. Can you get a desire going? Scale of 1 to 10?
9.
9, good. Can you?
An 8, 9.
8, 9. Chili rice?
Or like potato chips.
Potato chips. What you've tried in the past hasn't worked. Yeah? You've lost weight, you put it back on, and actually more weight. If you feel out of control around a particular food, I want you to do this. It doesn't matter if you get the sequence slightly wrong. Tap here. Think about root beer, think about potato chips. Tap here, collarbone. Tap here. Think about that desire. Now, tap here, this on the back. Now, keep tapping, close eyes, open eyes. Now, keep tapping, move your eyes down to the right, keep your head still, eyes down to the left. Keep tapping, rotate your eyes in a full 360, all the way around. Opposite direction, all the way around the other way. That's a good. And I know this is weird. We're going to hum, we're going to count, we're going to hum. This is not a distraction. This is changing the way your brain processes information. Think root beer, think potato chips. Hum. Let's count out loud from 1 to 5, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going right brain, left brain. We're going back to the right brain again. Let's hum again. Tap under the eye, please. This is good. Collarbone. Eye. What number is the desire at right now? You number?
I don't have a desire.
You have no desire? Do you have any?
No.
Okay, good.
What are you looking for?
The wording of our invitation.
Planning this wedding was so stressful. Normally I would have binged, but I tried the tapping technique instead.
I think Paul McKenna is a great way to lose weight and for us to have a great future together.
So proud and so impressed with Paul. He's really stuck with this. He's doing great. He's cut down his food intake so much. I'm mostly just impressed and astounded and excited that he's getting healthy. I'm really optimistic that this is going to help change our lives and our behaviors.
There's one simple change that you can make in your behavior that will make it easy to dramatically reduce the amount of food you eat. I'll tell you about it in just a moment.
It makes me feel good inside.
This really does make a difference.
For more information about I Can Make You Thin, log on to www.tlc.com/thin.
Now, remember from last week, the key to losing weight is to eat consciously. Focus on the food and nothing else. If you go unconscious and you shovel food in really fast without tasting it, if you watch TV while you eat, or if you read a magazine while you eat, you'll eat more. A recent American experiment proved just this. We repeated this experiment. It's absolutely fascinating. Take a look at this.
To demonstrate how difficult it is to eat consciously when distracted, we decided to carry out this experiment. We left 2 large bags of popcorn unsealed in our office for a week. Even though it's safe to eat, it tastes terrible. We wanted to know just how bad it tastes by offering it to random people on the street.
Not so good. Seems a bit old and stale.
Not good.
No, no way.
It's stuck in my throat.
Not surprisingly, every person disliked the week-old popcorn and refused when offered more.
So do you want another one? Is that what you're saying, or? No, no. In fact, you can have this one back. Oh.
To test the theory about eating more food when focusing on other things, we gave moviegoers the exact same stale popcorn as the people on the street to see if they'd eat the popcorn while focusing on the movie. People fall into an eating trance when engaged in some other activity while eating. Research shows that those people who eat while watching a movie or TV, while reading a book or listening to the radio, are far more likely to overeat than people who focus on their food and concentrate consciously on what they put in their mouths. At the end of the movie, we asked each moviegoer if they ate the popcorn.
I ate almost everything. I should have bought a large.
I ate 2 cups. You see, it's not hardly any left, so.
It was astounding how many people enjoyed the stale popcorn while preoccupied. After the movie, we told them the truth. And to prove the point about ignoring taste while distracted, we asked them to compare the stale popcorn with a fresh batch.
Lots better.
Now that's a shame. This is good. I'll take some more of that.
So it's very simple. What are we going to do in future when we're hungry? We're going to go and eat. And you're going to eat what you want. How are you going to eat it? Consciously. And then when you think you're full, what are you going to do? Stop. So far, we've learned to eat like a naturally thin person. We've also learned that being overweight is not so much about food, it's about mood. When our moods are up and down, we eat to keep them stable. With the tapping technique, we can stabilize our emotions. So for the next 7 days, when you feel overwhelmed, I want you to just tap that emotion away. You'll feel more relaxed, you'll feel more in control. Once again, thanks very much to Chris Wilde, who's come all the way from England, 185 pounds. Also, thank you to Grace, who is still losing weight and overcoming her emotional eating. Practice those 4 golden rules this week. Over the next few weeks, I'm going to show you how to supercharge your metabolism, how to increase your confidence. After these next few weeks, you are going to have completely transformed your relationship with food. Who here is addicted to a particular food? Who craves certain foods? Okay, who'd like to knock out that craving? That's what I'll show you how to do next week. Good night.
It makes me feel good inside.
This really does make a difference.
For more information about I Can Make You Thin, log on to www.tlc.com/thin.
This has been a presentation by TLC of I Can Make You Thin with Paul McKenna. Consult your doctor before beginning this or any new weight loss program. Individual results will vary. This program is for entertainment purposes only.